Okay, guys, so this is part of just my history, my experience, and what I would pass on to a lot of young guys out there, or just single guys. I'll just put it this way. Um, boy, this was in my early mid 20s. That good time when you get into your own apartment, you got your own setup, everything, and I don't know where I met this girl because when you're just out there running it, you just meet people all over the place. Could have been the club, could have been pumping gas. Just like some of like when you're just on fire, you're just on fire. The mall out here was, and for that time was just a huge place. I always tell some of the younger people that social media was like the mall. Like if you were doing Facebook, it's because you were at the mall all the time, or you're at these spots where people are at. That was social media. It was real life. Like you actually had to be out there with your own gift of gab. You had to, hit people up. You had to, be quick with, a pen and, and a number, or you had to remember a number. All of that stuff. But anyway, so I meet this one girl. She was bad. I can't even front. And to some degree, I thought, man, I'm like punching over my head. But you go with it. You just go with it. So I had her over to the spot. Um, Things went like they were supposed to, and I'm thinking, damn, this is cool. So I don't hear from her. We'd have no argument, no nothing. She just, after, we did the do. She got up, she left, went about her own way. But I wasn't even like worried about that because, you know, I had other things going on, other people. It's just that life. But anyways, um, I get a call from her about a month later. You know where this is going, and she says, "I'm pregnant." Well, I used, protection, although that's no guarantee. But even at that age, I was wily enough. I don't even know what description you want to put. There was something about like an old wisdom that I said two things are going to happen then, and I can't. What was it? I know the first one was you're going to come to my house right now. You're going to come to the apartment and take a piss test in front of me. And then I think I said two, when and if that baby's born, you're going to prove that it's mine. Never heard from her. We got off the phone, never heard from her again. Never, even to this day, never heard from her. So, fast forward handful of years, like I don't know, like 7 or 8 years, something like that. I go out where I'm with some other guys. I think we were playing ball or something like that, and this name comes up, and it's a pretty unique name. As a matter of fact, scratch that. Where I was playing ball, she popped up, and I don't know who she was there to watch. Didn't care, whatever. I don't even think she saw me. Maybe not even recognized me. But at that rate, I had a conversation or was having a brief conversation with somebody else about her. And the person was like, yo, you need to watch that one. I'm like, why? What's up? And turns out the pregnancy thing was an abortion scam. So what she would do is she would hook up with dudes, tell them that she was pregnant, and then say, I want an abortion. And then the guy would give her the money for the abortion because he don't want to be stuck with this one. And she would go shopping. And this guy gave me all of her game. And I just kind of laughed because I was like, well, I beat the system. I didn't say that to him. I'm just thinking to myself, but that's where you got to go with some of this stuff. Make them prove it real time in front of you. Even better yet, meet me at a clinic. If not, don't bother me with this. And it's not to be cold blooded. And the other thing is, even if this is a legit pregnancy, if you're giving money and all these things leading up to it, usually the courts view that as a gift. They're not going to give you some sort of credit for child support if that baby's yours. So your best bet is not to be, I don't want to say be heartless about it. If you played your part in it, you definitely have to own it. But what you do have to do is you do have to understand that you do need to protect yourself in a lot of ways by not getting too invested. If you're not sure, then don't get emotionally invested. Don't get financially invested. Again, it sounds cold, but it's true. Don't put yourself in positions to where that carpet can be yanked out from under you and now you're left with nothing. And sometimes less than nothing because you were given money this whole time. You were doing, and the courts aren't going to give you your money back. They're going to call it a gift. Of course, I want to give money back, especially if you weren't the father. What were you giving money for? If you're investing all of your time to go to doctor's appointments, this and that, yes, you want to be there for those things, but you do have to tread lightly, especially if it's somebody that you aren't connected to like that. If it's somebody that you've been dating or whatever else, cool. You still may find out that it was the worst thing that happened, which was she was stepping out on you. But if it's somebody that you were very casual with, somebody that you had just met, or it wasn't that serious with, you really do need to tread lightly emotionally and financially when it comes to that. Your family too. You run off telling your family that, hey, I'm expecting a baby, blah, 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 and then it turns out it's not. Now you've got potential aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins, and all these people that are looking forward to it. So you got to tread lightly. Again, if it's somebody that you've been invested with and you have been tight with, that's a way different story. But if it's somebody that you're just kind of loose with or very casual or what we call it, friends with benefits, booty calls, you name it, jump off, F-boys, fun girls, all that stuff, then it's different. But the story is, for me, that was a waking point for me. I'd never really come across somebody like that. So she was younger than me, but she was ahead of her time. And she was running, she was running a scam. And when I think about just how dirty that is, like you would tell somebody that they're having a baby just so you can have shopping money. But it is what it is. I thought I would share this because there's a lot of guys that I talk to at my job, just out, you never know, wherever, anytime you can get into these conversations, and these conversations are becoming more prevalent, that they're unaware of a lot of these things. Now, that is not to say that every guy going into something is a victim. If you stuck your unit into somebody, you are on the hook for whatever the consequences are, whether it's a baby or a disease. You are just on the hook for that. Or whether you get a psycho, whether this person ends up, stalking you or whatever. So first things first, practice like discretion, practice some discipline. Just because it's free doesn't mean that it's good. Ladies, same thing. Secondly, use that protection, because a baby sometimes is the best thing that can happen out of those circumstances. Again, speaking to disease or somebody really stalking you, or can really do a lot of emotional damage. But if you don't want any of those things, I'm no preacher, I'm no nun, I'm no monk or anything else. But then just practicing abstinence and a real discipline to say, like, I'm only giving it to somebody who's worthy. Somebody who is worth my time, somebody who's shown me that we have something that works for the both of us, that I'm worth their time and I appreciate them in return. So there is that to be said. But I know you couldn't have told me much about that at a younger age either. But this is where guys that get on in life, women who get on in life, we owe it to talk back and tell, like, a lot of younger people, this is what's going on out here. This is what you need to know, because it's not new. There might be new songs, new dances, new fashions that are attached to it, but it's all the same. It's all the same. It hasn't changed. And the people before me, the people before them, it's all changed. It just gets a little slicker sometimes, but that was my eye opener. And the fact that, again, that I had the ability to say, come to this house right now, and with a pregnancy test in the box. I don't want to hear that it was open on the way over, this or that, or you were reading the directions. You're going to open that whole kit here and you're going to take. She did. She knew the gig was up at that point, because she wasn't pregnant. And if she was, At that rate, there's a good chance that it wasn't mine anyways. That was another thing we were going to have to ride out and figure out. So I was willing to sit on that one. And it's one of those things, you just have to know where you're going with a lot of this stuff. I'm going to briefly like go into the next portion of this, and maybe I'll speak to it on another video. If you like what this content brought, or just these kind of stories, I can post more. Let me know in the comments. Please hit the like and all that stuff, and we can go from there. But the other half is, guys, at least in this state, and check for your state, filing for paternal rights. Even if your name is on the birth certificate, even if you have the child in your home every day with the mother, even if you are giving her money, doesn't matter. You gotta establish those paternal rights. If you don't know what that means, call or look for free services if you can't afford it, or if you can, get with a family attorney with male parent rights. There's very specialized lawyers now. You can talk to paralegals as well and find out, but you do need to know, because this is what will prevent people from, especially mothers, from being able just to make all these decisions without you having any part of it. I know child support sounds like a daunting thing, and it's like, oh, I'm going to go broke, this and that. They can only take so much of your money to begin with. And secondly, it really cements her into making her allow you to be able to see the child. So that's another thing, is you are investing in the relationship that you can have with your child. Every state is going to be different. But for me, from my personal experience, this is what happened. But I'm going to leave it at that. Again, please, if you have some questions, comments, concerns, I can't answer everything. I'm not a legal professional, just a guy who went through something. And I figure it's time to start sharing some of these things. So, guys, have a fantastic day. And again, I'll try to post something more if you like it, but this is just where I'm going to start at. Peace, love, unity.